Hey guys, Jeff and Alyssa here. It's week 4. She just informed me of the dating series. And so today we want to talk about kind of a general rule, or what's one thing we've learned from past dating that we would kind of give advice to you if we're hanging out or over coffee or something like that. So our answers might be different to this, but that's kind of the secret to dating, or the one thing we would give as advice to someone before they go into dating. For me, I think of 2 quotes when I think of that question. I think of the first one is, one I heard that says, if you live for someone's praise, you die by their rejection. And then the second one is, if you're putting your hope in anything but Jesus, you're putting your hope in something broken. Now, the reason I think of those 2 quotes is because one of the biggest problems I see in dating relationships is people make the boyfriend or the girlfriend their functional God, their functional savior, meaning they might say they love Jesus, but they actually get their worth, their identity, their value, their whole life is wrapped up around another person that's not Jesus. It's actually another fallen, sinful human being who will never give them and sustain the weight of what they're asking. And so that's what I would say is, man, just make sure before you go into a relationship that you're anchored and rooted in Jesus. What he says about you is true, because like we said, everything else is broken, but he's anchored. He's hope, right? He is kind of the rock that you can stand on that allows you to then be so healthy in your identity that then you can actually have a proper, healthy relationship. And so that's kind of what I would say for the advice, because the truth is, what you need to realize is, when you break up with someone, that's fine. You broke up and it's hard and it might be difficult, but if you do it in a healthy manner, it's not that bad. But if you break up with someone and they're your God, they're your idol, they're kind of, again, everything's wrapped up around them, then you don't just break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you just broke up with your God, right? Your functional savior. And so that's a lot harder. And that's why you see people who just feel like they really can't even live anymore through a breakup, because they were rooted and anchored in another person who wasn't Jesus. So that would be my little piece of advice to you. And you have to have that moment by moment. You got to wake up every day and you got to say, hey, it's about my relationship with God first, so that then I can turn around and then bless the other person, serve them well, and have a healthy relationship. The way I like to think about it is like a triangle. You might have seen this in one of our earlier videos like a year or 2 ago, but it's like a triangle, right? If God's on top and then the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the husband, spouse down here, if you're facing each other, meaning it's all about you two and you just kind of are circling, just all about each other, and you make each other an idol, then what happens is you're not focused on God, and then you can make that person an idol. But when you actually both turn shoulder to shoulder, look at God up at the top of the triangle, and you guys are both pursuing God first, what's crazy about the triangle is you naturally get closer to each other as a byproduct. And so that's what's fascinating to me with Alyssa, is the closer I get to Jesus, the more I'm praying, the more I'm thinking, the more I'm soaking in grace, the better I can actually treat her. And the one way I've seen this play out specifically in me, especially in unhealthy dating relationships I've had in the past, is in conflict, right? So for me, in high school and early college, when I had really, really poor relationships where I made the other person a functional savior per se, when conflict would arise, I had no choice but to react in a reactionary manner, meaning I was like a slave to them. So if they did something that upset me, because they were my God, I had no way to go, and I couldn't actually act in a healthy way because I was a slave to them, right? So when they kind of pulled the rug out from underneath me, I just had to react in an upset or an unhealthy way. But when you're rooted in Jesus, again, what he says about you is true, him as an anchor, what's really beautiful about that is then when conflict arises, or when something arises, you can actually say, hey, my identity and worth is being drawn from Jesus and his grace, so I can give you grace in this moment, even though you're maybe not giving me grace. There's an anchor to it that kind of shows you're not fully a slave to the other person. And actually, when you get to that place, it actually provides such a beautiful foundation for a healthy relationship. So that's what I would say. And the last thing real quick I would say is don't hear me say that I'm saying desire is bad, right? You can get satisfaction from a relationship. God created us to be in community. He created us to be in relationships, all those things. All I'm saying is just don't make that the rootedness. Don't make that the anchor. Make Jesus that, and that's a great place to be. So that's what I would say. What would you add to that?
Yeah, I think that was great, babe. My thing I was thinking of is communication. And that sounds so normal, but I was thinking communication with the Lord, communication with people in your life, and communication with the person you're dating. And so communication with the Lord, I think in dating relationship, always be praying, always be going before the Lord with an open hand, giving the person over to the Lord, whatever he wants for this relationship, whatever would glorify him. And I think that helps to not idolize the person when you have an open hand and you're not tight-fisted, and knowing that, this isn't in your control. You are a participant in it, and you obviously make wise decisions, but God ultimately is going to have his way. And so just to really be praying it and giving it over to the Lord every day and asking him for wisdom of each step and of how to communicate and get to know each other, and then communication with those in your life. So those that are close to you that you really trust and you really value their opinion and their advice, and that you can communicate with them and really share with them what struggles you have, what questions, what doubts, what really exciting things are happening. People that will walk through it with you so you're not alone, that will ask you the hard questions and keep you accountable, but also give you a lot of wisdom. Like when you get in a fight and when you are doubting and when you are really upset, to really speak truth into that moment is really vital. And then finally communicate with the person you're dating. I know when Jeff and I first dated, he was my first boyfriend, and I just thought everything had to be perfect, and that conflict was a sign of this is going to be done and
of
over.
Unhealthiness or something.
Yeah, unhealthiness. And realizing, no, that's so not true at all.
It depends on how the conflict is.
Right, how the conflict is. And so communicate with them. If something bothers you, pray about it. Maybe talk to a mentor, but then talk to them about it. Don't just bury it and let it, harbor bitterness or these doubts in you, but actually talk it out so you can understand one another and draw closer to each other, and just communicate like your desires and, when you do this, I think this, and your hopes and your dreams, because you're getting to know someone, and so you want to communicate with them. So that's what I would say, communication with those three people.
That's good. That's a book outline, communication with God, communication with others, communication with the person you're in a relationship with. So we hope this was an encouragement. Again, we love you guys. Send us your questions, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. A few quick announcements. One is Audible, which is Amazon's audiobook feature. They're actually doing a cool thing where they're giving people my audiobook for free, which, yes, it's read by me, kind of like in my Sean Connery voice. I'm totally joking. But they giving it to you for free if you sign up for a free 30-day trial, which, again, you can keep it after that free trial or you can cancel it or whatever. But links in that are right here. If you're on mobile, we'll put it down in the description. Make sure to check that out. Also, Alyssa's book is 3 weeks away from being out, spoken for. Go look it up. I'll never sing like that again. Look it up on Amazon. And then lastly, you guys always ask me in the comments, so I thought I'd do it preemptively. My shirts, we got some new ones in. This one actually says I'd rather be drinking coffee and reading a book. Pretty much story of my life. Links are down there as well. So we love you guys. Talk to you later.